It can be very easy for a leader to spout off what comes off the top of their head. Unfortunately, this is usually done without thinking things through and with making many assumptions. When we think about leadership today, we see leaders at multiple levels, from leaders of countries all the way down to leaders of organizations or leaders of households. Regardless of what level of leadership we're talking about, leadership always brings about controversy and conflict. Those who oppose the leadership seem to be critical about everything the leader does and unwilling to acknowledge any of the positive things that that leader does. Those who approve of the leadership, on the other hand, seem to be positive about everything the leader does, and they're not willing to acknowledge any of the negative things that the leader does. So, do we just blindly follow leaders that fit our own self-serving specific views, and at the same time blindly reject leaders that don't fit our own self-serving specific views? If we do this, we fall into a trap of deciding whether or not we like a leader based solely on our own selfish biases. This is a trap for a couple of reasons. First, we usually base our selfish bias on one or two issues, which is such a small percentage of the multiple issues for which we need good leadership. Second, what is good for only our own selfish bias may not be what is best for the continued stability and overall unity for everyone concerned. Knowing this, maybe it's time for us to get over our own selfish biases and look for leaders that actually have good leadership qualities and that want to use those qualities to enhance stability, promote growth, and bring peace and unity for everyone. Maybe it's time for us to stop and give some deep thought about what are the qualities that make a good leader. One of these qualities would be confidence. We all want to follow someone who believes in themselves and believes in what they are trying to accomplish. We need to be sure, however, that we do not confuse confidence with arrogance. Confidence can be defined as the state of feeling certain about the truth of something, whereas arrogance can be defined as an attitude of superiority manifested in presumptuous claims or assumptions. So, confidence can be associated with the truth, and arrogance can be associated with assumptions. The irony of this is that arrogance seems to actually come from a lack of true confidence. It can be very easy for a leader to spout off what comes off the top of their head. Unfortunately, this is usually done without thinking things through and with making many assumptions. As a result, when a leader spouts off and they are challenged on what they have said, they're not able to intelligently back it up because it lacked the depth of thought and the truth necessary to do that. When this happens, we see leaders try to avoid truly addressing the issue, and instead, they try to deflect the attention off of themselves and they try to transfer it to someone else. Let's be clear, this is not confidence. True confidence in a good leader is calm and quiet in spirit, full of self-control, and has done the research necessary to look at multiple sides of an issue in order to make comments from a well-thought-out position that takes into account everyone concerned. Confidence does not have a need to be selfish, but looks at the whole instead of any one individual. Confidence has no need to be right, but instead can be open-minded and able to change directions if a better way of doing things is presented. Confidence in a good leader is shown by having the strength to admit when a mistake is made, and it takes ownership and doesn't try to avoid the issue or try to blame someone else. Being able to admit mistakes goes hand in hand with another quality of a good leader, and this is honesty. Good leaders are first and foremost honest with themselves. We all know how important this is. If we're not honest with ourselves, we'll find ourselves rationalizing what we say and rationalizing what we do. Rationalization has no place in true honesty. Honesty takes ownership for the outcomes, and not just for the good outcomes, but for the bad ones as well. Honesty will give credit to the team for the good outcomes, and it will not try to blame and make excuses for the bad outcomes. This brings us to one last aspect of good leadership that we'll explore today, and that is communication. Usually when we think about communication, we think about speaking, but the first aspect of being a good communicator is being a good listener. If we are not able to listen, we will never truly understand what others are trying to convey to us. And if we can't understand what is important to people and what they think they need, then we'll never be able to communicate effectively with them. When it does come to speaking, good leaders use words that bring people together, not words that divide people. Now, this is not saying that everyone will agree, because that won't be the case. But words will not be used to pit people against each other or increase the division that already exists. But instead, these words will be spoken to what is in the best interest for everyone concerned. A good leader will communicate with words that are gentle and respectful, but that doesn't mean at the same time they won't be straightforward and direct. They will speak from a standpoint of understanding multiple sides of an issue, and they will help to challenge us to broaden our views in a manner that doesn't simply cause us to reject a view that is different from our own. Let's try to make a commitment to each other. Let's start today trying to base our view of a good leader as someone who exhibits the qualities of confidence, honesty, and communication that we have looked at today. And at the same time, let's stop basing our view of a good leader as someone who simply fits our own self-serving specific views. If we can do this, we will start to minimize the controversy and conflict we see with leadership, and we will take another step in helping to create a world of love without labels. Thanks you guys for watching our video today.
We want to just thank everybody for all the support. You guys are so awesome.
Yeah, thank you guys. Give the video a like if you liked it, subscribe, click the notification button, and leave some comments below on things we can do better and interests you guys have. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye.